Facebook, we are live. It's been a while since I've done a market review here. We do plenty of these in our trading room. So we've been tracking the main indices, main currency pairs, along with all of the instruments that we trade. But I wanted to get a video out because there's been a lot of talk out and about on our forums, you see it in the news, and really asking the question, is what we're seeing a relief rally and we're going to see further downside in the main indices, or is what we're seeing not a relief rally and we're going to push past and this is the start of another bull run? And the answer is nobody really knows. However, we can look at some key markets just like we do whenever we do one of these videos. So we're going to start looking at the S&P and the Dow and look at some of the European indices as well. So let's go and take a look. So big one for me, I've been talking about this in our trading room, is waiting to see what price did, because we had a rebound. We came down, tested these lows, rebound off the weekly 50 MA, came back up to the 21, and then we rolled over and we got the new low here. Now, obviously, with everything that's gone on and is still going on in Ukraine, the challenge here is we are in very different both political and economic scenarios. We haven't seen this for a long while. So a lot of what we've seen here is a bigger volatility. You can see bigger weeks in terms of the candle ranges, and you can see them swinging about. But ultimately what we had was a reaction here, came down, same thing again. We came down, new low, reacted back up, sideways for a bit, and then you can see we've had these so far 2 clear positive weeks, and the week so far is doing the same thing. Now, it is only Wednesday, so for me, I'm not going to really play too much into this, other than the fact that we've got this nice little new high and we are positive at the moment for the week, but that may change. So for me, seeing the key points would be these highs and lows that we can see, this choppy area, and those recent highs just here. Now, if I go down onto the daily, if we stay on the S&P, you can see that in a little bit more detail. So we had this choppy area. That was that first big move down. You can see came back up, came back down. A lot more volatility. Now, at the moment, you can see we've had our we had 1, 2, 3, our 4th up day in a row. Today is slightly down. So for me, we have had a close above these highs. So if we can push on from here, then I would be looking for a retest up at the prior highs. There is a bit of chop again just here. A couple of highs you can see in there, but I would be looking for a retest. So there might be a move down, and then that move down I'll be watching closely. If we get a move down, so I watch this from the daily chart perspective, and then we take the highs out of that move, I would be more confident of a retest, or at least a move back up into these highs, or ultimately the all-time highs that you can see there. So if we get that kind of move, then I would be re-examining it, because obviously a retest of those highs, there could be potential reversal opportunities there. So we'll be watching the price action closely. So at the moment, you can see that little move there. Now I'm going to go back up to the weekly, and I'm just going to go and look at the weekly from a comparable point of view. If we go and look at the Dow, so the Dow still hovering around its 50 again, a long time before this weekly candle closes. So yeah, Dow a little bit more sideways, as I've talked about before, and hovering around this weekly 50. Look, the 50 and the 21 almost crossed, but again, same principle applies. If we push on up, it might be that we have a move up into this zone here. We've got those highs just there. They're not strong resistance highs. And then if we move down and take the highs out, then I would be more confident of a move back up. So that's where I am with the Dow in the S&P. Back up to the weekly so we can again cross-reference that against the NASDAQ. And you'll notice that there is a similar move here. The NASDAQ hasn't really cleared its weekly 50 or its weekly 21. But again, it's the 3rd upward week so far. The last two obviously have closed. This one we'll wait and see. So yeah, the NASDAQ got a little bit further to go. But for me, it's still really in the hands of a bit of a relief rally. It's all about what the short-term price action is and whether we can get up and retest these highs. And then what's the reaction? Do we react to those highs or do we take them out? There could be something geopolitical. There could be something else that influences that at that time. We'll have to wait and see. But for me, it's still really just a bit of a relief. It is a relief rally, but it's still not anything significant until we take those highs out, because I've got to look at it from the point of view of the long-term move. If we take those highs out, that's where the key momentum point is. If we move up and we're strong from there, then we're into a new longer-term trend. But at the moment, we're just sitting around on the NASDAQ, the halfway mark, and slightly higher on the S&P and the Dow, but still not significant. Those highs or the previous all-time highs are the key there. Now, I want to go have a look at oil. A little bit of a lesson in here. So we are nearly at the end of the month. So we have our monthly oil trade coming up. Now, interestingly, we had a nice trade off the back of March's long trigger. You can see we were triggered long. Now, the challenge with this trade, because it's a very mechanical based trade, is you do have scenarios where you're trading into levels, and this was the challenge with this trade. So from a discretionary point of view, I wouldn't have considered going long at the point we did with this specific strategy. This strategy is a very mechanically based strategy, and you trade it without taking into account support and resistance levels. Now, for me, as a discretionary swing trader, sometimes that can be quite tough. So you can see we had the highs from back here. We had the highs from 2013 and then slightly higher the highs from 2011. Now, the strategy has a trailing stop on it, so we were able to lock in profit quite soon, and we had a bit of move up, and you can see we got a lot of volatility around those previous highs. And you can see price went that bit higher, and we did manage to get 4% out of it. So that's where sticking to the rules, even though we had that resistance level there, that strategy is something that we've been trading as a community for now the best part of probably nearly 5 years. And I've traded it personally for nearly 7. And the strategy data goes all the way back for 20 years. In fact, it's now 21 years. So in that particular strategy, the data overrules the discretion. So the data on that strategy and the strategy rules override my discretion. So even though there was a bit of me saying, look, dearly don't want to be going long into this resistance level, on that particular strategy, not my own swing trading, I stick to those rules. And it worked out for us because you can see price went above that resistance level. So where we are now on oil, again, oil can't really make its mind up. Here we've had a retest of those prior highs. So we came in once down here, had that volatility. We've come down, didn't get below the daily 50. If we go up to the weekly chart and look at it in a bit more detail, you can see a lot of indecision on oil with everything that's going on. So again, we're hovering around those prior resistance levels from way back. So again, oil can't really make its mind up at the moment. Got the high here, so again a little bounce here in between the moving averages. So again, we'll see what oil does. So at the moment, fairly neutral on this. For me to look for any swing trade longs, I would be looking for price to get above this high and back above that old resistance, and then there's a small window here, and depending on whether or not the trade set up, I could have potential move into there. But on the medium term, I'd want to be above these highs. For the downside, I'd want price to get below this area here, so below the daily 50, below those moving averages, and then I'd be looking for moves in there. So again, very neutral. However, that doesn't affect our monthly oil trade. We will be taking that trade regardless of the price action for the reasons I've just explained. So yeah, so that's oil at the moment. Very, very indecisive. I'm just going to go and have a little look at yen and euro. So we'll start with euro because what we've got is quite a long-term downward trend here. I'm going to jump up to the weekly chart and just show you what I'm seeing there. So with euro, you can see we've got this nice downward trend. We've got the 2020 lows down here, which again isn't a strong level of support. It is the COVID lows. It still is a low, and price has had a big move. So I would be expecting a reaction if we got down to that level. But what's interesting is we've got this nice downward trend where we've come up, we've got a nice move, created a nice new low. So for me in this scenario, I'll be looking to see what the price action does if over the short term in relation to that trend line. So for me, there isn't really an opportunity in here, but if we were to close above that trend line, then that would set off essentially the alarm for me to look for not a trade immediately, but to see whether price wants to give us a new high above this area here, because then I've got the trend line break, I've got to move above those prior highs, and then I could be looking for further upside. Yes, there's some other levels to be wary of, but that would be the move. Whereas for me on the downside, if I just pull the chart in here, you'll see it. On the downside, not a lot of room. So again, I wouldn't really want to be trading short below this level because there's only a small amount of room to those lows. Now, yes, we might break those lows, and there is further support that little bit lower. I've got that marked in blue. You can see that there. I've got further support down there, but these gaps are quite small. So it might be that I'll be able to get a short trade down to here if this low gets broken. But this market here, you can see, is fairly choppy. So we have got some traders that are short euro from up in this area here and also from this area here. So for them, it's a case of holding and managing their stops down to this level. For me, because I'm not in euro, I've just come out of a euro pound trade long. But with this one, because I'm not sure, at this point, it's a little bit dead for me. So it's a move above this level here, or a move below. Chances are I won't be able to squeeze a trade in there. So it would be a bounce trade down at this level. So and against the trend set up here. A new aggressive potential with the trend trade here. Possibly squeeze something in here, but then against the trend there. So for me, Euro's got this nice downward trend. And some of our swing traders have got a lovely position that they've been holding since the break here. And that's taken a lot of patience, but they've had a nice move with some good risk to reward. But as you can see, price is just moving up. So that's where I am with Euro. Nothing at the moment, but watching to see what the price action is and does over the next couple of weeks, getting above these highs here. But interestingly enough, what we have had due to the move up, you can see on yen, is yen has broken out of this sideways move that we've been talking about on previous market reviews. You can see it's had that sideways move really since October of last year. It hasn't done anything significant, and then as you can see with the monetary policy issues and everything that's been going on, we've had that big move up. Our key level we were just shy of here. Our key level, if I go up to the weekly chart, was all the way up here. Now we just missed that. So we do have some opportunities available short if there is a certain type of price action here. At the moment, what we were looking for was a hit of the level, and that would then trigger potential against the trend setups. And because we didn't get that level, we have to stay disciplined, but we have got some potential shorts if the price moves down from here and gives us some further signals. However, what we have seen on some of the big yen cross pairs, you can see here euro yen. So we're looking at a potential short at the moment. It hasn't triggered for everyone, but we're looking to see whether or not we get that. So if I just go down to the 4 hour, we can see some of the guys will be in off of the move here, taking a little bit of heat at the moment. It may roll over, which means a losing trade. Some of us are waiting for a bit more sideways move and then a break to the downside. So again, it depends on the strategy. Some of our traders are more aggressive, some are a little bit more cautious. But yeah, you can see euro yen has come in and retested those prior highs. If I pull up on the weekly back here, all right, so it's come in there. So started to see a little bit of movement on yen, and then we've got some potential on some other trades as well. So yen started to move. Still looking to see what the indices do over the next couple of weeks, and waiting for the same thing on euro. All right. So yeah, looking forward to next month. This month has been a 4% winner on my monthly oil trade, and I'm up just over 3% on my swing trade. So far, not a bad month. Okay, I'll be back with you again, hopefully next week. I'll see how things are because we're extremely busy at the moment. We've got our next kickstart starting next Wednesday. So looking forward to working with, I think we've got the best part of about 15 to 20 people on that. So looking forward to that. And then we've got some free webinars coming up, some free workshops. So make sure you are signed up as a free member of TSC so you can come along and see a little bit more about what we do and some of the processes that we use. As I said, trade safe, and I'll be back in touch as and when I can.